Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 6 of the Wondrous Wild West. Today, I'm going to be working on an abandoned mine that is tucked back into the cliffs in the back of the island. Here is the house we're actually going to use. It's my second profile, a little boy that I've named Maverick, and Maverick's house is hidden behind the cliff because it's going to be the inside of the caves of the mine system. I want his character just to hang out and be out and playing with everybody else, but his house is being utilized as a prop, as a way to decorate a unique space. My plan is to put one pipe inside the cave here and then one out where we kind of dip into the cliff. That way, when we're going through the mine space, we can go into the mine as the pipe allows us to kind of move between spaces. Here you can see I've put dirt walls and dirt floors down, and I'm working with 2 rooms that are in the house. I didn't want too much space in here, but I definitely wanted at least 2 mines so that there was room to move between a couple spaces in the cave. A lot of caves, of course, are very long, but I didn't want to get carried away with the space. I was really excited about this adorable little railroad path that I found. The code will be in the description of the video. I like that it looked more like a minecart path and a little less like a railroad path, the kind of thing that you would put a cart on in a mine space, which I thought was perfect. So I'm putting this path down and it'll go through both of the rooms and also through quite a bit of space on the outside of the island, from where the cave is going to be all the way back to the secret beach. So it'll be as if Red could kind of sneak through and in around to the island. The second room here in the cave has a tent in it. So even though it's an abandoned mine, it's not fully abandoned because someone is squatting in the space. And I don't know that it would be Red, so I would imagine it would be someone that Red works with, like a secret bandit cohort on the island. I don't know, we might need to create a name for him. Help me think of a really good name for a sneaky little bandit that is squatting in the caves. Inside the caves themselves, the decorations are pretty straightforward. I'm using a ton of the cobwebs and the termite mounds, which are both items that you get from doing the bug off tournament. And I could never in the world do that tournament so many times. So I went and collected the termite mounds and the cobwebs from a treasure island so that I could get more of them, because I really needed quite a few to make the illusion of the island work. Here you can see I'm back in the second space and I'm putting that little railroad track down, and I wanted it to go from where you kind of the entryway of the room out to the exit of the room, and I want to block off the entrance. And I know that sounds silly, but I don't want anyone to come into the cave and then be able to sneak out and see where that house is hidden in the back, since it's such a strange spot, and I am not going to be dropping a ladder for people to be crawling around because I don't want them to go back and find the house hidden behind things. Obviously they'll know it's there somewhere, but I want the illusion to work. So the very front entrance of this house is going to be blocked off. I think I'm going to use a set of jail bars. You can see I'm putting those down right now just to kind of test and see if it's working. So the path is going to go from the little railroad path all the way through out where you can't follow it. And I really like the way that that helps me to maintain some of the space and the illusion. And you actually walk from the back room to the front and then to the back again to take the pipe and get out. And I sort of love that. I love that the way that you go about moving within the house is different. So here you can see I'm just putting down a lot of things that will look like somebody is secretly living back here in the cave, and trying out a few different kind of custom panels and custom patterns to see if they would help. Back out here with my main girl, now that the cave inside is finished, I'm using her to do the outside of this mining system, which is actually pretty expansive. I have the path in place here, and I'm mostly focusing on the straight paths for now. I'm trying to figure out where I want it to go because it's going from where that pipe is, which is going to be the cave entrance and exit, all the way back here to the secret beach. But I didn't want to run the railroad straight into the beach and look like it just went nowhere. So I tucked it behind the cliff a little bit so it would look almost as if it was going in another cave back on the cliff. It's supposed to look mostly like an abandoned railroad, kind of a mining cart system that would have been used to transport some type of coal or ore back in the day that it was used. And now it just has some extra carts and things on it, but it's probably being used by Red and whoever the secret cohort is that is squatting inside the mine. Once I figure out where the railroad is going to go, I start putting down those extra designs just to kind of give it that mining feel. And I wanted to put a lot of stone here because I'm getting ready to put a stone arch up and figure out how to make the entrance to the mine work, which is a little bit tricky because I didn't want to cover up the pipe. Now, I debated this a lot, whether I was going to try and conceal the pipe with that really bright green so that it would go someplace else. And in the end, I decided I wanted the pipe to be visible so people would clearly be able to see and follow and go through the pipe if they were touring the island and they weren't familiar with the layout. So even though the green pipe isn't the best looking part of the design, it is a clear indicator that you want to use the pipe to go someplace else. And so that's why I decided not to cover up the pipe or hide it behind something. This part of the design is pretty straightforward. I'm using a ton of the barbed wire fence and sort of scattering it about. It's supposed to be an abandoned area, so I didn't want to connect it too much, but I definitely wanted to do a little bit here and there to define the area. And then I'm using a lot of the same type of flowers and designs and elements that I've used in all other parts of the island, where I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a few items. And then I started to the custom paths. You'll see back on the beach itself, I'm definitely not going to use any palm trees. I'm trying to stay away from the tropical elements entirely. And up here on the front, I am using more of those termite mounds. I really wish that the color of all these different rocks could match and coordinate a little bit better. I have the stone arch and then some of the stones in front of it and the termite mounds, and all three of them are a different color. But in the end, I needed the shape and size of the element to look a little bit more like a cave. You really do have to just ignore some things in Animal Crossing when you're trying to create something unusual, because there is almost never going to be the perfect item that you're looking for to create what it is that you're doing. And it works out. It works out okay. Once I get a few more custom paths down by the cave system, just mostly a lot of rocks and a little bit of dirt in here, then I'm going to put a few more termite mounds. I'm trying to give it a little bit of height. Again, without hiding the pipe, but by still kind of creating the illusion that the area is more complex than just the single arch. I wish so much that we had an item where instead of moving to and from a space like you do with the pipe, that it was more of a cave that you could walk into, because that would be the coolest thing to use in the game. But we're just kind of going with what we have. All right, everybody, let's take a look at the final area. Completed abandoned mine came out pretty amazing. I love the way that the custom pattern of this little minecart railroad path adds a lot of design and character to what is otherwise a very simple desert. It's a little bit tricky to design a space that's supposed to be mostly full of nothing, but this little track goes a long way to giving it character. You can see all the little designs and items that I've scattered about into the area. And as we work our way back over to the cave entrance here, you'll see that I'm going to pop into place and sort of show you what the final version of the inside of the mine is. I did move a few things around and added a couple items when I was doing some final touches. I found kind of some little coal patterns and shovel and amber and gold things that I dropped in here just to give it a little bit more of the mine characteristics. And then over here in the room, again, a few things just kind of dropped onto the floor and a few more custom patterns that I found that I thought added some more texture into the area. I really like the way that these cave rooms look kind of creepy, but also cool. I hope you found something useful here and that you continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.